This is a tutorial on how to use the new G5 timer. And if you bought a G5 timer and you don't know how to use it, there's an instruction manual. But if you think it's too hard to read, well, this is the video you're looking for. So first, if you look at the front, there are two buttons. There is the off button and the reload button. So first of all, go to the back of it, and there is a screw at the back of it and a place where you can write your name. And obviously you already know how to do that. There's two holes and a big hole for the wire for you to connect to your computer. So you need to see the logo SpeedStacks, and you unscrew the back of it, and it needs two AAA batteries. And you can see there is an instruction on the back of it that says hold 5 seconds. So first of all, when you put your two batteries in, you press the on button. And now you can see when you get your timer, it shows a blue light. So if you hold the reload button for 5 seconds, so it changes to blue. And now you can see it's a 4 pad. And if you don't know what 4 pad means, it means it uses these hand pads, but also the thumb pads. So this is how it works. So when you put your timer down, you need to get your thumb and your hand to go in here, and when the green light goes on, that means it's starting. So now what you do now is you put your timer back down and you stop it. Most of the time, people in SpeedCube competitions, they will mainly use the yellow light. So if you want to turn it off, if you want to go back to the yellow light, and by the way, the blue light means it's for cup stacking. If you want to go to speed cubing, you hold the reload button for 5 seconds again until it goes back to yellow. So now it's 2 pads, so now it only applies to these 2 hand pads. So, example, you want to do a time solve with your cube. So if you get so when the green light goes on and it flickers, it means it's starting. So you just do your cube, put it down, you put your hands down, and it doesn't really matter what point of your hand it is. It can just be the whole palm of it. And if you want to do another solve, but if you put it like this and there's a red light, it means you can't do a solve, and the time is still there. So what you do is you just press the reload button or the restart button, and that'll be it. And if you're asking, what are these two holes for? Well, there are special mats where there are anchors for the timers. This is the G5 timer. There's a G5 mat and a G4 mat. So if you're asking what this wire is for, it's mainly for putting in the wire to connect it to the screen you can see at most competitions, or you can connect it to your computer. So these two holes have little springs on the inside, so it's easier to anchor on. And if you're wondering what these screws are, aside from this one, it's just to unscrew the whole thing. So if you get a G5 timer with the mat, then, well, you're obviously a master at it. So this is an example solve of how to use the G5 timer. So I will just move the camera real quickly and do a bit of a solve. So the cube I'm using is the WRM maglev, and it's probably better than the 12 maglev, obviously. So here's a solve. And by the way, I'm not very experienced with the G5 timer, so I may not get a good average, but let's see how it goes. So green light. So you can't really see it, but when you look at the light and it goes green, it means it's ready to start. So (13:031). So if you want to reset it, just press the restart button and it'll go back. If you want to turn it off, you can just press the power button and it'll go off. So that's the tutorial on how to use the G5 timer.